Alright, well, I just decided I wanted to do something here. I'm not quite comfortable with what's going on over here. I'll tell you, if you guys remember right, when I had that electrical problem that went on for I don't know how long it went on for, come to find out it was the wind turbine had shorted out. And because it naturally was tied into the 12 volt side as well as the 12 volt on the ground side, I ended up with problems on my AC side, even though the wind turbine is a DC. It's a long story, but for those of you who know a little bit about it, kind of have an idea what I'm talking about. So meanwhile, I had a short. And I really don't know how it had shorted out to start with, but it had a short. So I have a bank of batteries. I'm just going to draw one, but I've got a small bank over there. I also have a manual charger. It isn't an automatic. I have that manual charger on a timer. It has a 2 amp, a 10 amp, and I believe like a 50 amp. I don't know, up there someplace. And then I have the wind turbine, and I have a solar panel. So the solar panel naturally comes right down into the batteries, plus and minus. The wind turbine also comes down into the batteries, but there's a fuse block there. I think it's a 12 banger. So that's kind of tied into the fuse box, which is also tied into the batteries. So that's kind of going this way. Then I have this charger set up on a timer, so it'll kick on 2 amps for about 10 minutes, somewhere between 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And that also goes to the battery. Now why I have the charger on there is because if we're having some bad weather. So what I'm thinking, and I don't know if it'll actually bother it or not, but it doesn't hurt. I'm thinking about putting a couple of diodes in line with the solar panel and the wind turbine. This way the power, if I have the 2 leads coming off the solar panel and the 2 leads coming off the wind turbine, one being a positive, negative, positive, negative, and then I've got the battery, and then I've got the charger, and they're all going to the same place. The charger, is it going to, which I know it will, when it sends a spike into the battery to start charging, naturally it's going to start showing voltage going up this way. So is it a possibility that that could have blown the wind turbine? So what I'm thinking of doing is, I think I got some either 5 or 10 amp diodes. So if I put a diode in each line, or in this case maybe 2 in each line, that will allow the voltage to get into the battery, but it won't allow this voltage to backtrack into the solar panel and the wind turbine. What a diode does, it allows voltage to go in one direction. If you kind of look at them on a schematic, it'll kind of look like this. Alright, and then you got your traces. That's kind of the way the voltage would be going. Sometimes they'll look something like this. Alright, you know, it all depends. But meanwhile, that's the way a diode works. So I'm thinking about doing that. Let's put it this way. It can't hurt. So why not? You know, a few minutes of time. That's about it. So I took a quick ride to Home Depot. I was running low on a few little things. I mainly went there to get some PVC things, but I figured I need some paper. I didn't have any, so I got some 120 and some 320. So I needed some paper, so I got some of that. They're high, they're expensive on their paper. Then I picked this up for the Dremel tool. This your way if I do want to just have it hanging over there. You know, I have this as well. So I picked that up. And I was running low on some paint, so I picked up a couple cans of paint. Where the hell am I? Oh, there it is. I picked up a two-timer, all right, a gloss and a flat. And then I've never used this stuff, Quick Coat. I have no idea what the hell it is or what it does. Well, supposedly it's paint. 99 cents a can for a 10-ounce can. These are 12-ounce cans. Fast drying, all-purpose spray enamel. You know, who knows? But I figure, you know what? Sometimes a lot of the stuff I do around here, all I need is something to cover something. So I figure, let me try it. For 99 cents a can, I'll give it a try. So I picked up a couple, well, one can of the Quick Coat. Then I picked up these two cans, one flat, one of a gloss. All right. I don't know if you guys are seeing this, that's why I brought it back again. Then I picked up two of these. These are a texture taint. A texture taint. Well, taint that great. So, but it's a little bit of a texture on it. Almost like, I don't know, a real fine concrete, granite, I don't know, but you know what I mean. So I picked up two of those. I do have a job that I need to use those on, so that's why I grabbed them. Now, this is what I went for. That. And the elbows. I really didn't need the elbows, but I decided, let me grab them because I could use them. Oh, then I got a set of Easy Outs extractors. Now, not the best set in the world, but however, I think I may have told you or may have posted it. I may have a problem with the rear wheel on that tractor. So I don't know for sure. The bill. The receipt. A couple of caps. A couple of tees. Alright. So, what I went to Home Depot for today was to get two of those, and somehow I ended up with three. Two of these. And two of these. Now, if I didn't get these, I was going to use these. But somehow along the line, I ended up with three of those, which is okay. I ended up with two sets of adapters to downsize 2 times if I want to. There's a reason for that. So, I can basically say this is what I went for. And then I seen these, the paint. Then I seen the extractors. Then I seen this. Then I seen this paint. Then I seen this paint, and this paint, and sandpaper. Now, while I was in the tool department, which I have no idea why I went to the tool department, because this wasn't a thought at the time. I seen it there, so I said, you know what? Now I have a reason to maybe need it. This, really haven't found a need for this one since I fixed the other one, but if that one breaks again, I'm done with dealing with it, so I have a second option to put this on the other Dremel if I want. So while I was in the tool department, basically that's where I ended up going there. Now, as long as I was in the tool department, I'm looking around a little bit, and I said to myself, self, you need this. Now, I'm not going to tell you I'm not a fan of Ryobi, because I've had a lot of them. And I've never really had any issues with them other than the batteries. So instead of me buying batteries, I would always buy another kit, because if you buy a drill, for instance, it comes with 2 batteries and a charger. You know, and if you think your battery may be dead, well, also it may not be the battery, it may be the charger. So you don't want to buy a battery to find out your charger's bad, or whatever the case may be. So I always bought the kit. You know, if you buy 2 batteries that cost you $60, you buy a kit for $70 and you get the charger, the 2 batteries, and the drill. So I ended up with a very large collection of them. However, I started having a few little issues, and I said, you know what, I gotta start getting something. And then when they started with the Walts and things coming out with the higher voltages, I said, you know what, let me go with the Walt. I also have a Milwaukee, which I would probably not buy again. I've become a real fan of the Walt, but I needed this. Now I don't need it, but I keep saying I wish I had it more than once. So when I was there, I said, I'm going to look at this. And what this was is basically this little saw. Now I had one at one time by Ryobi, whatever, and it worked for the longest time. And then eventually the saw actually did burn out after a while, and that was it. So naturally I still have the ones that plug in. I never even thought about it, but I did get a lot of use out of it. But I'm finding myself having little things, little pieces of wood, you know, thin pieces of, 1/2-inch plywood, 1/4-inch plywood, that I only got to cut off maybe, a 1 foot or something. And it's at a point to where I have to go to it. I can't bring it to me. So I either got to run 100 feet of extension cord or have one of these. So I said, you know what? I'm going to buy one. So they didn't have the saw separately. They only sold it as a kit. Now they did sell the next size up. This is the 5.5. They sold the 6.5. God, they put a lot of weight on that lately, huh? They sold the 6.5 separately. However, you had to buy the charger and the batteries because those weren't included. So the saw was $60. So by the time you buy the batteries and the chargers, you're back up to $100. And I look at it this way. The 6.5, even though it's only 1 inch, will probably, well, we just took the drop test on that, will probably wear the battery down quicker because there's more blade cutting and going and dragging through the material. So I'm thinking, I'd rather have the 5.5 for that reason. Plus, I have 4 or 5.5 blades over here from my other one. So I said, you know what? This was $129. They're on sale for $99. The 6.5 was $59. Plus, I had to buy the battery and the charger. Now, if I already had batteries and chargers, that would have been the deal to go with, but I didn't. So at that point, I said, oh, let me just buy this and get it over with. So that's what I did. So now I can actually take that piece out there and cut it. And like I said, when I did have them, I really didn't have any problems with them. But at this point, I really don't know why I ended up going into the DeWalt. Well, I know the batteries weren't lasting as long on this, but must have been another reason, because I wouldn't have done it just for that reason. I'm not going to bother using that. So meanwhile, that's what I did. So I went there to buy a couple pieces of PVC, and I ended up going nuts. I can't go anywhere. I really can't. Now, they sold me the saw, but there it is. I was going to say, where's the little gizmo? So they have yes they do. Good. They have a little button. to tighten, to loosen. So meanwhile, I pick this up. And again, there is something out there that I need. To cut a piece. And this will definitely come in handy on a lot of these little things I have to do. Because like I say, the piece I need out there, if I remember, I gotta go get backwards. It's like an old Dodge product, an old Chrysler product. The lug nuts went on backwards. Remember that, guys? But this is going to come in handy right off the bat because, again, I either got to run. I'll put this here for now, but I know I'll lose that. So I either got to run the extension cords out there to cut one little piece, or I'd have to disassemble the whole thing to bring the piece in here, and that would be crazy. Actually, sounds better than they used to. Maybe they're stepping up in the world. Not crazy about the color, but again, I'm not setting up or coordinating colors in my workshop, so I don't care. So let me plug the charger in, let me plug the battery in, and I'm going to go out there and do that, and I'll be right back. Alright, so now that we're done with that, I'll show you in a minute what I did with the welder, the stand. Oh yeah, sure, warranty, screw. I think I got what, 3 months with Home Depot. Bring it back if I don't want it. Something like that. A little list of spare parts if you need to buy any spare parts. Oh, goody, goody, goody. What do we got here? Well, I'd like to have it in English. Oh, okay, we're getting close here. English. Well, either that or I learned how to speak another language or read another language. And seeing that that hasn't happened yet, I don't think, I can only take the assume that this is English, seeing that I can read it. So anyway, get all this bullshit off it that I don't need, just get in the way.
Choose the word that best describe your pain. Burning, throbbing, piercing, pinching, stinging, shooting.
Shooting. It is not down my head. Is the baby alright?
Go throw it out, sticks to the finger, falls on the floor. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Typical!
You may return to your post.
Let's put the little thing in the little thing. There we go.
Elevating your legs when you sit should provide all the relief.
Let's put this one on that I can do with my hand.
Ensign Wildman, according to your medical history, this is your first pregnancy, correct?
Yes.
Well, Ensign, unfortunately, pregnancy causes its fair share of
Okay.
discomforts.
Put this over there with the other parts.
We'll give them a follow-up in 2
I
days.
got a little Dremel parts drawer there.
Decrease the sensitivity of the nerve in that region.
Thank you, Doctor.
I gotta pick up some more magnets. I need magnets. Because I hang a lot of this crap on magnets. Not maggots, magnets. However, there are a lot of maggots
I will have cuddled them. Compassion can be
around.
Unfortunately, you have enough to look for this.
Alright, so anyway, I think I told you about the possible problem. I may jump on it today. Today is Saturday. It is October. And I believe probably somewhere around the 15th or so, 14th. And it's probably what time? 1 o'clock already. Do you believe that? Oh. Anyway, why I may need these. Well, one is I haven't got any. I think I have one. Never really had a need for them. However, I think I may have told you about the tractor. When I was taking the wheel off the other day, the wheel came off, the axle, easy. You know, the tractor's relatively new, so I mean, you know, it wasn't too bad. Now, what did we do? We bought it last summer sometime, I think. So what is it, maybe a year old? So that wasn't the problem. However, the nut, or the bolt rather, that holds the wheel on, when I was taking it off, it fought me all the way. And I didn't have pressure on it. I had the tractor jacked up, so there was no pressure on the wheel. And it fought me. I mean, every pull was like, God, this bolt's going to get hot and it's going to end up snapping on me because it was fighting me. Got it off. I looked at it and I noticed that it was stripped a little bit. Well, this is the first time I've ever taken that wheel off. And I noticed it being stripped. So I put the bolt down, took the wheel off, and as you see, I came in here and I did what I had to do. Fixed the flat, the leak, and went to put it back on. Now thinking about it, put the bolt back into the hole, started to tighten it, and I'm saying, oh man, it's fighting me. I got, that's right, it was stripped a little bit. So now I'm thinking, oh wait a minute, should I just let it follow the threads that it was on before, hopefully, or what? So well, you know what? Let me just get it on, you know. So I fought with it somewhat to get it on. Got it to a point to where she was tight, but she doesn't want to tighten. You follow me? It'll just want to keep turning. So either it's stripped more, or it was getting ready to break, you know, the head break off. So I'm just going to leave it like that for now. All right, because at least I can use it, hopefully. But then I said, you know what, I really can't have it like that because the wife uses that quite a bit, and I don't want her to be running around the lawn with it and have the wheel fall off. So I decided that I'm going to have to take it back off again. So I'm going to take it off again, and then hopefully get it off, and hopefully it'll come out. Then if the best case scenario would be just find another bolt, or possibly just have to tap out the hole, which is not all of a big deal, finding a bolt or tapping a hole, you know, so it's not a big deal at this point. The worst case, that would be the best case. The worst case would be the bolt snaps off. And then I've got a problem. So then I'm going to have to drill it out, and hopefully at that point, maybe just get it out one of these extractors. I don't know because it's, again, I don't know how it's in there. The extractor may take it out. If worse comes to worse, I'm going to have to just drill out the whole thing, you know, and then rethread it and start all over again. But I'm hoping for the easy part, the easy way out, which would be not using anything, backing it out, cleaning the hole up, putting a new bolt in it, and I'm done. That's what I'm hoping for. So, alright, now other than that, let me put some of this crap away before the wife gets here. The wife has no idea what I spent. Anyway, let me show you here where I'm at. This is where I'm at so far. So far! Now, the angle iron, the bed irons, the bed rails, whatever you want to call them, come up to about here. I was going to just extend them or just put some pipe over them. I said, you know what? I've got the PVC piping. I didn't have the connectors or the elbows for this particular size. But I said, you know what? I just soon have that on there because it's easier on the hands. I don't have to worry about it. You know, and it's just there. So basically right now that's all kind of drying in. These are all done with the PVC cement. Again, when you go to Home Depot, remember if something says something on the box and there's a lot of loose pieces in that box, check the piece when you pull it out of the box to make sure you have the piece that you wanted, because people take things out of the box, throw them back in the wrong box, and then you buy the piece that you think you're buying that was in the wrong box and you got the wrong piece. So that's what happened here. This is a reducer, and it was a little sloppy in here. So what I did was I just mixed up some 2-part epoxy, the Loctite epoxy, and I have here, and I don't remember how I got it. I mean, I got it. I did it. When I say sawdust, this is sawdust. I just don't remember what saw I was using when I got this. Because when I did it, I says, I want to save that. That's going to come in handy. And it does. However, I'm running low on it. And I wish I knew. That, believe it or not, is sawdust. It's like powder. And I don't remember what I cut or what I cut it on to get that. All I know is that I did it. And I says, I'm going to save that. Well, this was full at one time. And as you can see, it's depleting. So I have to figure out what I did so I can do it again and get that. Because that's definitely a nice fine dust or a powder compared to sawdust. Now, I could have used sawdust as well. But what I did was I mixed that little powder in with the epoxy. And at that point, it's locking in there nice. So once that gets locked in there, what I'll be able to do if I want is come off of here with some 1-inch, which I have tons of 1-inch PVC around here, and I've got tons of 1-inch elbows. And I was thinking about coming off here and then coming up a little bit so I can hang this over it, and I can hang the helmet on it, you know, and whatever else, you know. So that's kind of where I'm at in my thought pattern. But basically, that's where we're at. Now, I don't want to move it around just yet on this because, like I say, it's all done. It's dry, but I want to make sure that it's cured. So at that point, I'm just going to let it sit there for a few minutes, and that's where I'm at. And then put a few things away. I did some body work on the wife's car about a month ago. It's an 87. It's a 97 Subaru that we had purchased brand new, and it's a nice car. And everybody says, "Well, get a new one. Get a new one." Well, you know what? Last year, I think it was, the year before, it hit 90,000 miles. The wife doesn't drive a lot. It's all-wheel drive, and this Subaru she has, it's like a tank. The hood, you got to lift the hood up. It weighs like 100 pounds. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but I'm just trying to give you an idea. And so anyway, they recommend between 90 and 100, 110,000 that you redo the timing chains. Well, sometimes they have you do that just so they can take you to the bank. And then sometimes you really have to do it. You know, but I've had cars with 200,000-300,000 miles on them, and I never had to do a timing chain. But you know how these newer engines are. It's the 6-cylinder Boxer engine, which is a great engine. And I'll tell you, it's a quick little sucker. It's a 5-speed. She likes manual transmissions. So last year, she wanted to get the timing chain done. Which, you know, do it before it blows, because if the timing chain goes, you could just destroy the engine at that point. So do it while you have an opportunity of not blowing an engine. So called Subaru because they so-called had a special on timing chains. $499 for the timing chain. Well, that only covers the timing chain. When you start breaking some of these things down, you got to worry about the head gaskets. You know, there's other things involved that doesn't fall into that $499 that they're not telling you about. See, that's the hook. They baited it, you grabbed, now they got you. So I says to my wife, before you do anything, I said, let me call them. So I called the parts department, and I said to the IM Parts, on the 70, now I'm down to 70s, on the 97 Subaru Outback wagon, in the timing chain package, does it come with head gaskets? Well, we know that it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Okay. What does a head gasket come with? The head gasket. You know, so I have to fight for everything. And then the next thing you know, by the time I'm done, you know, I'm up to like another $300 in parts. And that's not counting the labor on the extra $300. You follow me? In parts. Because even though they're going to take the timing chain and everything off, and they got to put it back, but if they got to put a new piece back in, they're charging you for that piece that they're putting back in, which it shouldn't actually be. You follow me? You know, if I got to take this off to get to that, now you put that back on, that was the $500 package, then I bought a new one of these. Well, you had to put this back on anyway, so what's the difference if you're putting an old one on or a new one on? You put a new one on, and then you put this back on. Well, they charged me to put this on, and they charged you to put that on. Well, that's what they wanted to charge anyway. All right? So that's not going to happen, you know? So, you know, basically they pull the engine out of the car. I mean, you know, sometimes that's just the easiest way to do it. It may be the only way on the Subarus. I have no idea. I'm still used to the old 283, you know, 327s, you know, 380, 440s, 383s, you know, stuff like that, 340s. But anyway, you know, you got the picture. So there was this guy that had a shop out in the back road here on what they call Business Park Drive. It's, I don't know, 10 minutes away. That a friend of mine used to have a shop next door to him. And this guy was always busy, and all he dealt with was Subarus. That was it. So and the wife noticed it as well. So she decided she was going to call. So she stopped by first. Then she called me. She says, I just stopped by that place on the way to work and talked to him about a few things. So I'm calling you to have you call him so you can discuss what's fine. Well, he used to, years ago, worked for Subaru. And he decided to open his own place and deal with Subaru only, and that's what he does. And he's been doing it now. Well, I've known he's been there for about 10 or 12 years. So he's been there a while. It's, you know, not somebody just opened up the shop. Well, Subaru, by the time we were done with Subaru, with this $499 timing chain package, it was going to cost us close to $3,800 by the time we were all done. Yeah, hello. So I said, I'll buy another car first. And everybody says you should buy another car anyway. But you know what? It's got 90,000 on it. We've owned it from day one, basically. You know, and at that point, why? It's paid for. The insurance is right on it. You know, why do I want to buy a new car, you know, and possibly have a loan on it? Or if not, I still have to pay more money for the insurance because car's worth more. You follow me? So this runs, it drives. I'm not out to impress anybody. All right, it runs good. It goes places other ones don't. Why do I want to buy a new car? So I talked to this guy, and I said, by the way, it's got a rear main seal leak. Oh, that was one of the other reasons, because I was talking to him about that rear main seal. A Subaru. It was up to $3,700. So I'm talking to and I says, well, you know, it's got the rear main seal. It drips every now and then. You really don't see it, but you smell it. You know, and it's going someplace. And if you get down there with a flashlight, you can see a little bit of oil, you know, wet oil on the back there and, and stuff. He goes, oh yeah, rear main seal, this and that. So he says, let me put up a package for you. He says, and call me back. And I call him back. New timing chain, head gaskets, rear main seal, new tensioner, pulley tensioner, new clutch pressure plate throwout bearing, because as long as he's got it apart, why not? The clutch had 90,000 miles on it. And there was something else too, I forgot what it was. $2,400, 24 change, $2,500. So I've got twice as much out of the guy, right, for what, $1,200 less, or at least $1,000. Yeah, $1,200 because they wanted $37 less. So you know what? It's still running like crazy. Still runs great. Has no problems with it. You know, it's just a good car. I mean, there's no reason to get rid of it. So anyway, it had a little bit of around the rear wheel, a little bit of rust started to form. It had just a little bit where you could put your finger through it. So I decided to grind it all out of there, cut it out. All right, put in a piece of tin, pop rivet it, sand it down. You know, I didn't go crazy with lead and all that kind of crap. You know, then I put some fiber over it, sanded it down, skimmed it, sanded it down. It's done. Taped it, primed it. Then I taped it again, and after a few days I taped it again. You know, well, first I sanded it down a little bit more, the primer, and I taped it again, and then I just sprayed it real quick with a can of white paint. However, the white paint, you know, white, there's, you know how many shades of white there are? You know, so it's not the same white paint. But meanwhile, and when I taped it, and I didn't fade it in, I just painted up to the tape. So you kind of see the tape mark, if you know what I mean. So what I'm going to do is this weekend, hopefully this weekend, if we get a nice day tomorrow, this day is kind of shot and it's a miserable day. Good day for sanding though. But meanwhile, I think I'm going to paint both sides of the car from the rub rail to the top piece of trim. Because on the Subaru, the whole bottom is like, you know, a 1.5 feet worth of dark gray or silver, you know, plastic, like a rub rail type thing. Then you got the white paint. Then you got a tape mark. What do you call that? You know what I'm talking about. I used to do it for dealerships. Now I can't even think of it. Pinstriping. All right. And then up to the piece of trim. So I'm thinking I'm just going to tape it off at the pinstriping and tape off the bottom and just paint that like, it's about 1 foot down both sides of the car so it's evened out. So I want to try to get that done within the next, well, at least by next weekend if it clears up all right, depending on the weather. And that's what I'm hoping for, because now we're getting that kind of weather that's a hit and miss, you know. So but I want to get it done, and I can't get it in the garage because, well, you see why. And well, you know what, I may be able to get it in the garage, do one side and then pull it out, back it in, do the other side. And I got the air compressor and everything in here and all the spray guns, so the hardest part would be just, you know, getting it in the garage. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, I'm wasting a lot of your time. Here I am in another 22-minute video. I am sorry, guys. Catch you later.